Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. I am covering the Moscow, Idaho Bryan Kohberger case. James Patterson thinks Bryan Kohberger is guilty. James Patterson, the best-selling crime writer out there in this country, sold more true crime books than anyone. James Patterson, that James Patterson. He is writing a book about the Bryan Kohberger tragedy, and he also thinks Bryan Kohberger is guilty. I'm going to share a clip with you where he discusses the Moscow, Idaho tragedy. Check it out.
All right, James Patterson will detail the killings of 4 University of Idaho students found murdered in their off-campus housing. The book will come out before the trial of suspected killer Bryan Kohberger, and James Patterson joins us now, America's best-selling author in history.
Yeah, I don't know that the book is going to come out before the trial, but we're working on it right now. Vicki Ward and I, who's a very, very good journalist.
What about this case? Why this Idaho case is so fascinating?
I think the secret to great mystery stories is questions that the viewer or the reader must have answered. And that's what this has. I mean, we think Bryan Kohberger is guilty. We'll see when the trial happens in late September. But there's still big questions. Why did he murder these young people? What is the effect on the town, on the families? He seemed to want to create the perfect murder. He didn't. What went wrong? And what happened beforehand? When he was in Pennsylvania, were there things that happened? Did he commit any great crimes before he went out to Idaho? So there's a lot of questions, and that's what drove me to write the book.
You're famous, obviously, for detective novels, for the Alex Cross novels. And what I'm wondering is there something about writing truth that allows it to be stranger than fiction, that you can do things with truth that are because fiction has to make sense, truth doesn't.
Yeah, well, hopefully the fiction makes some sense, that it tracks okay. You know, I do have an Alice Cross book coming out right now. It just came out today, Cross Down. It's the first Cross book that's ever come out in the summer. And Sampson, his partner, is the big storyteller in this. And once again, getting back to what I said about the Idaho murders, questions that as readers and as viewers that we must get answered. The question here, the title is Cross Down, does Alice Cross survive? That's the big question throughout the book. And I think why a lot of people are going to go and order the book very quickly and read it very quickly. But that goes right back to Idaho in terms of those questions we must have answered.
Yeah, no, my mom is a huge fan of Alex Cross and obviously of your writing. So I think that she will be already has ordered it off of Amazon. Help me understand.
I like your mom, and I like you better because of your mom.
Well, thank you. Most people feel that way. Then you meet the dog and you like everybody. Help us understand real quick about Kohberger. The Idaho 4 murders. There was something about the murder of 4 college students, right? There's tragedies that happen. There's murders that happen all the time.
Yeah.
What about this, you think? And you've had a unique ability to understand what pulls at America.
You're looking at it. Yeah. You're looking at it. Here are these 4 victims, these terrific kids, the families, wonderful families that have been, decimated. A town. This is a little similarity to Truman Capote wrote a very famous book in Cold Blood, where a terrible 2 killers come to a small town. And it's a terrible thing that happened. Same thing happened, and this is Moscow, Idaho, where, a wonderful college town, good kids, and all of a sudden this terrible thing happens. And the town isn't really ready for it. They haven't had things like this. They don't have murders out there like this. Yeah. The detectives have not dealt with stuff like this before. The prosecutor hasn't.
Yeah, one last question. I only got a couple of seconds, but I wanted to get it in. You guys have done a lot of your own reporting on this. Is there anything you've uncovered so far that's not in the public record?
Yeah, but we're not telling it tonight. Tonight we're going to sell it. Tonight we're going to tell people to go read the new Alice Cross book because it's really fun.
All right. Well, you've left us in suspense, sir. It's good to see you. Thank you very much. We'll talk soon.
So James Patterson wants to get a book out before the trial of Bryan Kohberger, which is scheduled for October 2nd. He says he doesn't know if it will get out before then, but he said he thinks Bryan Kohberger is guilty. He said the evidence is strong. is the families. Is the four families working with James Patterson on this book, or is he doing this book on his own? He mentioned a name about a investigative reporter that's working with him, but has James Patterson reached out to the four families to get insight about this case in their perspective? Is James Patterson seeing things that we're not seeing because he thinks it's guilty by the evidence? You know, these authors that write these true crime books, they get a lot of inside sources, so he might see stuff that we haven't seen yet. Subscribe to my channel, like it, hit the notification button. I like James Patterson's book, so if this book comes out, when it comes out, it looks like it is going to come out, I'm definitely getting a copy. Will you be getting a copy of James Patterson's book? We will talk soon. Check out my Moscow, Idaho playlist. Hundreds and hundreds of videos covering this case extensively, sharing with you the up-to-date information on this case. Any new and anything Bryan Kohberger in the Moscow, Idaho 4 case. So this is the chat. We'll talk soon. Stay tuned.